Welcome back, everybody, to the first episode of the Leadership Void podcast of 2022. I'm Enrique, and I'm here with my co-host, Vince. This is our very first episode, folks, and I couldn't be more excited for what this next year has in store for our show. Today, we're wearing Marine Lava Red in honor of our guest, and Vince will introduce.
Absolutely. Season 3 is upon us, folks. We're just so excited. We have with us TShane Johnson. He's going to talk about TShane Johnson Inspires. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to the show. Happy New Year, brother. Let's just kick off the show by telling us a little bit about you, TShane.
Oh, man. Great way to start the year. First and foremost, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be on your show. I've seen some amazing things you guys have done. I follow you quite a bit in LinkedIn. So you guys have some great guests, some great content. So, it's important, especially for the veteran community and for all, for most part, but it's really good to see that you guys out there kicking butt and delivering really good content. So I really do appreciate that. I think there's a lot of different directions I could go with a little bit about me, but I think the simplest form is really, I'm just a Florida boy. At one time, I was, one of probably only 5 people actually from Florida when I lived in Florida. So it was like anything else. Most people don't understand Florida. A lot of them think it's beaches and condos, when in fact it's really cattle and groves. So I grew up, in Arcadia, Florida, probably a little inland from Sarasota, Bradenton area in the middle of nowhere, in a little town called Gardner. And then I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to join the Marine Corps. I made it, got in the Marines, and served my term, got out, and fell into entrepreneurship and banking. And over a course of 20 years, I developed a lot of different things. And now I'm a motivational speaker, best-selling author, world record athlete. I guess serial entrepreneur, philanthropist. I don't know, whatever the day holds. Dad, most important, with my painted fingernails. They're chipping. I need to get them redone, but. All in all, yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
I love it, TShane. And brother, we know each other for a little while now, so I've seen all the things that you've been involved with. It is very encouraging to see a Marine come out and do something great, and you have definitely done that. I love the painted nails, brother. That is a true sign of fatherhood, if any, and I'm so happy about that. You started TShane Johnson Inspires. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think, there's so many different directions when it comes to content out there now. It's challenging because you've got one context and platform that says, follow your passion. You got another context and platform that says, work really hard and things come to you that way. And, so I think people get a lot of mixed signals of how things come, and they think that it's one direction or all. I get a lot of questions on leadership. People say, well, what's your direction on leadership? And I said, well, there's not really a direction on leadership. Leadership is to adapt to all people. It's not a specific platform you follow with one structure and one thing like we did in the military. Nowadays, you got to be able to adapt to any and everyone. And I think that comes into the context of being able to relate and speak to people on all levels. And TShane Inspires was something that just really kind of formed it. I didn't have this plan in my head. I always knew I wanted to be a speaker. Like everyone else, I think everybody has a story to share, but my story, I honestly never even talked about until probably 10, 12 years later. And it was really more of a format of trying to build a relationship from me being homeless and then building somewhat of what people would consider success, and then going back to the homeless and being able to have that conversation on a level ground. And then when I realized that people really didn't need politics and government and policy and structure and leadership, they really need inspiration to feel good about themselves, to feel like they're worthy. Because I think even most of us, even if we, again, to the general public are considered successful, we're a lot of times very lonely inside. Entrepreneurship and life in general is like Mike Tyson, man. Every time you get in the ring, you're just getting knocked out. And you have to have the fortitude to be able to get back up and go at it again. And I always know one thing for a fact will take, Marine Corps is a small portion of my life, but it does lay a good foundation for a lot of things. And I will say, when people say, what is the thing that you remember the most about the Marine Corps? And I will say for me, it was in Paris Island, and we were doing a formation PT run in boot camp. And I remember listening, and when you just get that really good drill instructor that has that just sings cadence like there's no tomorrow, and it just changes your life. You start monkey drilling and doing all this stuff, and it's like this guy is like the heavens of music, you know, and it just was killing cadence one morning. I've got chills talking about it. Just killing cadence one morning. And he was saying, up in the morning with the Carolina sun. And literally, as I looked, there was just this massive red sun coming over the top of it. We were all clapping in unison, and we were moving and we were working together. And I thought, man, I've literally made the best decision of my life. This was just so empowering, so inspirational. We're all achieving the same thing, no matter where we come from, what we look like. You know, it doesn't matter what our color is, what our race is, anything. We were all there as one equal, one unit, singing in unison and being and all aspiring to be the best. I mean, I have yet in anything in my life been in an entire group of people where everyone is striving to be the elite. It's always maybe one or two of us, you know, a couple of us, a lone wolf, but never where a whole group of people is coming in and saying, today we're going to give every single thing that we can, you know, to be the best of the best. And it was just it was an amazing thing. And I think TShane Inspires really kind of embraces that. That's the idea. When I stand up on the stage, it's to be able to tell a story to all people, not just people that I'm targeting for the sense of signing a ticket or a book or getting anything. I mean, my biggest speaking events that I've done in all these years of speaking has been to over 100,000 homeless people. And I didn't get paid a dime for it. As a matter of fact, I paid for it, you know? So that's really what my platform is. And then of course, you know, from a business standpoint, it's turned into executive leadership coaching. It's turned into, you know, generally I like the stage. I love being able to gather a big captive audience and be able to tell a story and impact people where they feel like you're literally talking only to them, no matter how many people are in the audience. So I really enjoy that portion of it. And then of course the one-on-one coaching, you know, picking the right horses and dedicating myself to the right people and inspiring them to go out and do more, and hopefully getting a small amount of what we shared, you know, and felt when we were in the military of that moment that I shared.
Wow, that was phenomenal, TShane. Your journey, your story, it's captivating and riveting. So I thank you for being here and allowing us to share with our audience what you have going forward. And I hear this tagline in my head: elite as one. You know, I think that's definitely what I'm hearing. You know, we all elite as one. And in the military, for those of some of us have not gotten up before the sunrise to listen to those beautiful music. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. And talk about being shooken down or being knocked down, as you said, Mike Tyson. You know, the pandemic had knocked down certain individuals, certain companies. How did the pandemic affect TShane Inspires?
I broke a world record. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, adversity is part of life. I mean, you know, I think there's, again, a lot of different people out there delivering that message, but I think that there's not always a hardcore message to it. I can't just justify military experience and expect everyone to relate. I think it's like in anything else, is being able to adapt to the situation and adjust based on your goals. I mean, you know, when you set a goal for whatever you're going to do in life, and again, this isn't specifically to business, it could be just be a better parent, be a better person, you know, do a little bit more, clean the house, make a little better breakfast. I don't know, whatever it is. When you understand you're going to hit it with obstacles. I mean, I don't know, for a veteran, I don't know, COVID was probably pretty legit for me. I didn't have to run around and talk to a ton of people. I was locked up in my house, being able to do what I wanted to. It was great, you know. But from an adaptability standpoint, you know, normally for the past 5 years, I've ran across America. I had speaking engagements that were, you know, in person. And it wasn't really a challenge. It was just adapting. It was like, okay, great. You know, so I need to still raise funds for causes that are out there. So how do I do it? Okay, let's pick a push-up challenge and let's start marketing that accordingly. And then when it came to speaking, all right, great. Well, you know, people are going to do it on Zoom. Technology is advanced now. It's a lot easier than it was before. And it's no different than talking into a movie or a video camera. We just have to be able to explain to each person on the other end of that Zoom and connect, you know, in just a little bit different way. I think as a speaker, it's more challenging because you don't have the interaction of the audience. So you do have to kind of put yourself in an actor role and pretend that there's an entire audience out there. But it wasn't, I don't want to say it was a challenge. I would say it was an expected roadblock based on my goals and objectives, maybe a little more for some than me, but I mean, the mission still got to get done. So we just went ahead and did it.
Well, TShane, 3,000 miles to your why, Guinness World Book Record, push-ups up the yang. I'm telling you, you're batting, you know, as far and as long as you can. So much going on. So what's on the horizon for TShane Johnson Inspires?
Well, I mean, look, my objective is, you know, I aspire to inspire before I expire, right? You know, so I mean, my objective is to continue to inspire no matter what, and every day. You know, as far as logistically, you know, I'm going to redo the 12-hour push-up goal, or world record here, hopefully May 1st, God willing, and the creek don't rise. But that's kind of the plan for this year. And it's really just getting out there to continue to spread the message. I have a great group of gentlemen I'm speaking to in January, about 300 guys. And it's really defining our relationship with God, as a man, being able to raise our daughters in the right way, be a good family person. You know, I think that's a very, very, very needed thing in our world today for men. So, I mean, it's really that. And then just continue to spread the message and inspiring, hopefully telling my story and impacting one person. I guess if I did that, I'm good to go.
You know, you talked about inspired, and then the whole before you expire, you know, that's wow. That says a lot there. You know, you say a lot of hidden subliminal messages, but they mean some great things, TShane. I want to share that with the audience. Audience want to get a hold of you, but they have to wait to the end of the show. But right now, let's transition about leadership. Let's talk about your leadership journey. So what professional development areas do you work on, TShane, to improve your capabilities as a phenomenal leader that you are?
Well, I think I'm fortunate. I mean, I'm a dad to a little girl, so her personality changes like the wind. So it's a lot like leadership. You know, when you're dealing with people, you have to be able to adapt. You know, I kind of touched on this a little bit in our earlier conversation. You know, when it comes to leadership, I think, you know, you see servant leadership, you see lead from the front leadership, you see all these different platforms that are going out and echoing leadership. And I'm a little confused when it comes to it, because people will ask me that question: what is your thoughts on leadership? What do you do to become a better leader? And, you know, leadership is not a one size fits all, and it's not just pick a platform. I mean, I guess if you feel like you want to be a successful leader, I think some people, you can be great with servant leadership. I think that's, some people can be led that way and it works. I know some people that just won't work well at all with. That's not my platform. I like to be told exactly what to do. Let's roll with it. I like to see somebody do it, and then I'm going to follow them until I die. You know, I don't need to be patted on the back. I don't need to be attaboys. I don't need any of that. Let's just get it done. I want to be the best. And I know in life that nothing good comes out of something that's easy. So I appreciate kind of that brash approach. However, I do know that I can't be like that with a 7-year-old girl, right? So I have to be able to adapt to that situation and understand what drives and motivates her. And I think when it comes to myself, I'm constantly working on different ways to lead people from different perspectives based on their views, and not looking at a disagreement or a question in authority as something wrong, but as an ability to be able to encourage and build more to guide them in the right direction. Because ultimately, leadership is trying to get all people to do one thing that you want in the same direction. It's not just for them to agree with you and say, okay, well, this leadership works for me. That's not getting everyone to do it. That's a big trouble that we have in a lot of different things today, is that we feel that one side versus the other side, when in fact all sides should be working on how do we guide everyone into, again, like I mentioned earlier, that one unit, you know, that one elite thought process of how we're going to accomplish that goal. And when I go into organizations, it's always interesting to see that, because you do see a lot of the one side or the other. You see a lot of the military structure, right, top down theory. And then you see the servant leadership where it's flipped up and you've got the bottom person, you know, going out to everyone. And I don't always agree with that. You know, I think that's, I mean, look, when you're a CEO of a company and you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, your expectations, goals, and things that you do aren't the same as it is as being someone on the front line. You know, totally different. Doesn't mean you can't relate. Doesn't mean you shouldn't understand. It just means that you guys have different objectives, right? That's why our brass isn't out on the field taking rounds, right? They're back strategizing and understanding and playing the chess game while we go execute, you know, the mission objective. So again, for myself, you know, pretty basic stuff: reading books, studying, doing all the right things. But ultimately, I think being a parent is the best form of developing leadership, especially between the difference of children, ages, you know, gender. There's a lot of different platforms. I can't go in and kill every boy she talks to at 7, though doesn't mean I can't threaten them.
And as a dad, I could see that very well. I'm telling you, TJ, you know, as we grow up, and leadership, without a doubt, is very dynamic. You're going to have to learn how to adapt in order to get your mission done. And so I agree with that. There's a lot of advice that we often get as we're growing up as leaders. What advice did you get as an emerging leader that you would like to share with one today?
Well, I think don't ask anybody to do something you can't do yourself. Yeah, my dad probably taught me that a long time ago. And then, the military was the epitome of that. Well, the leaders I have anyway, so I'm not going to speak for the entire military, but for the experience I went through, I was never asked to do something that I couldn't or wouldn't do myself. And I've always been a big fan of that. I think that's, a lot of people don't realize their ability until they're pushed in the right direction, right? So when you're getting ready and the green light looks and the door opens and it's time to static line jump out, there's no like, well, let's talk about your feelings today before we get ready to jump out of the back of this plane, right? It's really just that size 11 or 12 booth that just gets put right in the back if you even question it for a second. And next thing you know, you're like, holy cow, this was a blast. Like, I did it, and that has been the best form of anything I ever do. I mean, I'm still scared to stand up on the stage. I have a lot of anxiety, a lot of problems. I mean, I'm a 100% disabled veteran. I mean, I have a lot of health issues from my accident, a lot of things that I challenge with every single day. It's not always just a positive side. And I question myself all the time. And I make mistakes all the time, but that doesn't mean that I don't pretend that boot's in my back. And I just jump. And then when I realized I've jumped and I did it, I go, okay, that fear now has been conquered, and I can decide whether I want to continue doing it or not do it. But however, I have done it at least once. And that's what encouraged me and keeps me going when it comes to it. And that's the best advice I've received.
I love that advice, plus that internal fortitude to keep going, especially when you're knocked down. So that develops definitely that advice also has some challenges. We all have challenges. So you, TShane, what you'd like to share with the audience about challenges either you're currently facing or have faced in the past?
I think the challenges are definitely outweigh any of the other things. I think people, when you're watching this as an audience, listening to this as an audience, I mean, you're looking at the positive, right? You're writing down the 5 things that you take away from a positive, when you don't realize that the things you should be writing down is the 72,000 things that were the failures. People don't realize when I did that push-up record, people say, man, you did 3,050 push-ups in 1 hour. Like, that's amazing. I say, yeah, but did you read the rest of the article? I did 16,500 for 12 hours. I did 25 push-ups for every 60 seconds for 12 hours straight without stopping. And I have 40% use of my arm and nerve damage. I have 40% use of my lungs. I have, major injuries throughout my body. And I couldn't feel my fingers for the next 4 months. And I didn't get paid money to do that. I did that to raise funds for the National Purple Heart Foundation and contributed my own money. It wasn't like I had sponsors to cut me checks and I was paying for it. I mean, it was all out of my personal pocket. So there was a tremendous amount of health challenges and life challenges. I also run through companies. So to find time to train at a high level athletic, training when it comes, I was training in a boxing gym with a professional athlete all day, every day. And I was having a lot of problems, a lot of nerve damage, my hands on fire. I sleep probably only 1 hour a night, and most people don't know. I haven't slept a full night and I don't know how long, and I realized that, however, those that receive the Purple Heart probably have it a lot worse. So if I can sit here for 12 hours and push through those challenges and raise, $20, $25, $30,000 for a cause to help something else, then I've paid back my debt for my second chance of life, or at least start to pay back a little bit of it. So I think life is, everybody knows when you're listening to this, you're going through something. Everyone's going through something. I guarantee you there's in somebody's ear right now, they're questioning today, in all aspects, right? And it's just a matter of knowing that, we go through that for that one specialist experience. We go for that one moment of pure joy, and we capture and hold on to that, and then we head out to some more challenges, and hopefully we continue to fight.
Well, that is just straight beautiful, brother. I was over here almost jumping out of my seat. Life will throw some curveballs at you, but that's everyone, folks. Everybody. There's nobody that gets through this life unscathed, right? That's not gonna happen. And the way you approach it, TShane, is just wonderful. I applaud that. Now, I'll tell you that sometimes, along with challenges, change comes to us, because those challenges are sometimes change forming. It is designed to make us change something. So what certain strategies do you use in team dynamics or in personal to strategize to deal with change?
Well, I think the first thing is understanding change is positive. I know it can be what people think is challenging. So if I'm working with a person or an organization, I think the idea here is to weigh out the why, right? Like to define our purpose and mission. I don't get caught up in the I have to go work out today. I think if I did that, I probably wouldn't go. I think what I do is I get caught up on what's the why, what is the reason for doing it. I will say over years in life, and you start to change your perspective on a lot of things. I mean, what you would have asked me that question many years ago compared to now is different. I think what's important, one thing I will share, from a personal perspective is that, because I am such a serving person and I actually get a sense of fulfillment. So I think it's a little more selfish than selfless is I forget to take care of myself. And because I forget to take care of myself, I actually forget how to take care of myself. And I think that's one thing as leaders, we really forget to do. We spend so much time trying to tell everyone how to be a great leader and how we're a great leader, when in fact, on the inside, we have totally forgotten what it's like to take care of ourselves and in a positive direction. Recently I was presented with an opportunity to retire, right? And just completely not have to work. And I at first, when I thought about that, I was like, oh man, that sounds kind of like a pretty good idea. And then I got really, really lonely about it, because I thought to myself, well, what do I do? I don't know what I like. Do I go fishing? I don't even know. I've spent so much time not working on myself that literally it's probably going to take me another 5 years to even try to figure out how to do that. Now, when it comes to change, I realize that is a different form of my life and my goals are a little different. I need to live a little bit longer for my daughter. I need to focus on things for her rather than serving in a different direction. I need to show how important she is first and then take, from there. So usually when I'm explaining that to people, I always say, look, change is inevitable. It's going to happen. And we've got to decide to just jump on the ship or not. And if we're going to accomplish the same mission, i.e. our why, then from there, we know that there are some obstacles we're going to have to overcome. And as long as, again, we go back to that unified front with a unified goal to do everything on the same page, with each one of us having our own independent drivers, then I think that we're going to crush it. And that's usually how I address change. And for me, it's a little different. It's just like, it is what it is. Let's just do it and roll on with it, and I'll adapt. But not everybody takes that approach and can deal with that. They want to ask why. They want to understand. Again, if we have the same mission objective, I think it's really easy for all of us to say, okay, do we agree this is what change is going to get us? Yes. Okay, great. Then it's inevitable. Let's work on how we can motivate each other based on our drivers so that we can get to the same common goal.
Wow. Definitely some great advice, some great opportunities for folks to understand these different perspectives, but most importantly, being the elite and having the team mentality focused on the mission is where it's at. So folks listening in, you just heard from TShane Johnson. And if you want to get a hold of him or TShane Johnson Inspires, folks, he's going to tell you how. How do we go about doing that?
Yeah. So you could visit my website, TShaneInspires.com. People can text me 704-574-6611. You ever have a question or anything you need, and in all my social media handles, it's at TShane Johnson.
Outstanding. And folks, if you want to get a hold of us, the leadership void at gmail.com is where you want to go there. Send us all your requests. Send us anything you want to know about leadership specifically, or any guests that you would like for us to have on the show. We would love to see that and curate it and consider it. Today, TShane Johnson with us. We are so blessed to have you open up our season 3. And, no better way to have the Marines come in and embark and then get in there and just blow it all up and show how it's done. But, hey, we've been blessed. TShane, good to see you again, brother. We wish you all the best this year, and we're just excited for this next season. Folks, stand by because we're going to share some more information for you coming up.
Yeah, speaking of standing by, a couple of things going on. One, our subscription drive is going strong. We're at 170, trying to reach that 200 goal. All you have to do is go to our YouTube channel, Leadership Void, hit subscribe. You enter into the drawing to win this wonderful book from Scott McGregor calling Standing O, the Salute Edition. It's autographed, folks. So please come out there, subscribe. Help us reach that small goal, obtainable goal. We also do Radio Check every 1st and the 15th of every month at 1900 with 7 p.m. It's a chance for us to come together as one and just find out how can we help one another. So checking our battles, first responders, military community, first in the 1900 YouTube, LinkedIn Live. And also we have a great podcast platinum sponsor, the home team of Round Point Mortgage Service Corporation. We are sponsored by them. We thank them. Next week, amazing person doing amazing work in the military community. We have a special giveaway going out next week. We'll learn more about it next week, so please tune in. But today, again, season 3 was opened up by the Marine TShane Johnson. We're just so excited. Thank you for being on our show. Happy New Year, brother.
My pleasure, gents. Thank you so much.